Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? Jared Fuller here. Today is Sunday, September 23rd, 2018. So glad you could join me for another installment of the Sunday video update. I hope you had a wonderful week. My week, really not the greatest, and I'll get to that in a minute. But for those of you who are first-time viewers of my channel, I'm just going to go through a quick run through an overview of what my channel is and the kind of content that I share. So I do these Sunday video updates, of course, every Sunday, pretty self-explanatory. But I talk about the week in review and just kind of give everybody an idea of what's going on in my life and just keeping everybody up to date, because I have friends on Facebook who want to know how I'm doing, and sometimes it's always best to hear from the horse's mouth. And so that's why I decided to make one video per week talking about how I've been doing and how my week was, looking back on the week prior to now. And so here I am for another week of the Sunday video update. But I've been doing this for, I'd say, maybe 2-3 years. And I didn't realize I'd been doing it for this long, and they haven't always been on Sunday. But I didn't realize that I've been doing video updates for as long as I've been. But yeah, I kind of just talk about the week in review, which I'm going to do now. So my week was kind of rough. My stepdad is in the hospital again. He has an expansive list of health problems, one of those being diverticulitis, and that's what landed him in the hospital this time. I've been up to see him once. I might go back up there again today. He's in Owasso at Memorial Hospital, where I was born, by the way. And so he's, last check, he was doing good, or doing well. I want to use proper English here. He was doing well. He had an IV in his arm, and he was able to keep food down. He was sent to the hospital because he couldn't keep food down. But now he seems to be doing well, and he's eating all liquids, or drinking all liquids, eating liquid. Wow, listen to me. I need some more coffee. But at last check, I knew he was doing well. When my dad and I went up there to see him, we were all conversing and laughing and everything. So as far as I know, he's doing okay, but he's still in the hospital. I don't know when he's going to be getting out. A lot of people ask my dad, they ask me, when's Jim going to be released? We don't know. We only know as soon as we find out. So, if you're friends with my stepdad Jim on Facebook, he's got the room number, the PIN number, the phone number to call. He's got all that information. I'm not going to give it here, obviously, but if you are really that concerned to know how Jim is doing, you'll find him on Facebook, and you'll give him a call yourself. So, but of course, that's for all my local friends. I'm sure that not anyone randomly watching this is going to say, well, gee, I think I'll call Jared's stepdad in the hospital. Yeah, that'd be that'd be out of the ordinary. But my week's not been so well. For that anyway, Jim being in the hospital. But I had done a video, like a recording. Those of you who are either subscribed to my channel or you just are a casual viewer of my channel. So I did a recording called My Thoughts on Advocacy, and that's something I wanted to touch base with all of you about. And before I do that, I want to remind all of you to visit GuideStar.org. GuideStar.org has a complete and comprehensive list of all of the 501c3 nonprofit organizations and LLCs. They are tied in with the Internal Revenue Service of the United States government. Don't be fooled. Don't be duped. Visit GuideStar.org today. And may I suggest you keep them in the favorites tab if you use Google Chrome or Firefox or whatever web browser you use. Keep them in your favorites. Because there's a lot of scammers out there, a lot of fraudulent people, and we need to stay on top of this, and we need to mitigate the problem of fraud and people who are using people for whatever reasons they can get from them, which leads me to the point that I wanted to talk about, my thoughts on advocacy. So for those of you who listened, I did give my thoughts. It's about a 6-minute video. I talked about, why I think the movement with pediatric cancer awareness and finding cures, why I think it potentially may be failing. And if you haven't listened to the video, I would suggest you do. But to extrapolate on that a little bit, we do have this problem in the childhood cancer community in particular. Maybe the same thing applies to all different communities of different terminal illness, but childhood cancer is the only one that I know directly and personally, so that's why I talk about that the most, and because I'm an advocate for awareness and research. But we have a problem where, first of all, there are a lot of people who are advocates. They do make it about the kids. They do. I mean, there's no denying that. There's no question about it. They make it about the kids, which is fine, and I encourage that. Always make it about the kids if you become an advocate for childhood cancer. But there are also those people who have to be the center of attention all the time, and it becomes a problem. They're either doing it to be the front page news of a newspaper, to have their faces on television, to have all this press and popularity and notoriety. Look at me, aren't I cute? And what that does, in my view, it devalues your good deed to help somebody else. And I'm the first person to say, hey, look, if you can help somebody, help them. I encourage people to pay it forward all the time. But do it for the sake of helping one another. Do it for the sake of humanity. Don't do it for the sake of, I need my press time and I need to make myself look like some kind of a hero, some kind of a star. And the problem that we do have, and I see it even on Twitter, is the fact that there are certain people held up as pinnacles of the childhood cancer community, which, in my view, anymore, the more I sit back and I observe things, the more I realize that this community is more divided than united. It just is. I mean, you have people who are, they all stick together in their own cliques. There's certain little cliques. And if you're going to talk about a community, talk about the community as a whole, even for us long-term childhood cancer survivors. It's not so much me identifying with the community because I don't want to feel left out, but there comes a point in time where a lot of us long-term survivors actually do get pushed off to the side, and we get, we're forgotten about. And we have to kind of, hey, over here, almost 30 years here, I mean, and the reason I talk about my battle, not for the notoriety and the popularity. I talk about my battle because when I became an advocate in 2013, just as I described in the recording I had done, when I became an advocate in 2013, my only goal, my mission, because I guess apparently all advocates are supposed to have goals or missions or whatever, my only access point to my whole, the efforts of my advocacy was to share my story with other people going through similar situations to give them hope. I didn't want to be above anyone. I wanted to be among everyone. I don't want to be held up as a village chieftain or as the pinnacle or the figurehead of pediatric cancer. This isn't it's not a show. This isn't, how most of these advocates, especially the indirectly affected advocates, and I'm not speaking for all indirectly affected advocates, but most of them, They view this as some kind of a WWE-style advocacy, the World Heavyweight Champion of Advocacy. Really? This is not something that people like myself signed up for. My advocacy was a spinoff of the fact that I am a survivor. So even if I'm not an advocate, I'm still a survivor, and I always will be. The problem is that we have people who are using this to their advantage. When they say, well, you know, I'm doing this for the kids, well, it sounds all fine and dandy until you start plastering all over social media, which devalues the deed and which, at that point, makes your deed disingenuous. That's where the wheels fall off for me. There's no such thing as helping people anymore without this need or this desire to be the center of attention. It's a problem. It is a huge problem. And that's basically what I talk about in that recording. But I would encourage everyone to give it a listen. And I'm not trying to discourage, you know, even the indirectly affected advocates to stop advocating. I'm not trying to tell them to walk away. What I'm saying is if you're going to do it, make sure you're doing it for the kids and not for yourself. It becomes so, after a while, it just becomes repetitive. And I'm not pinpointing any one person. I mean, you can look at anybody and just kind of sit back and watch how they behave on social media, watch how they behave in public. They try to be the center of attention all the time. They throw their face in front of a camera. They want to, they sensationalize this to the point where, nobody takes us seriously because we make it about ourselves. Well, not we, because I don't, but they make it about themselves constantly. And then they wonder why nobody will take awareness in this disease seriously. It has nothing to do with the fact that not everyone is directly impacted by cancer, and their children aren't, not all children are directly impacted by childhood cancer. But no one's going to be taking us seriously if you're going to constantly, first of all, make it about yourself, and second of all, you're trying to outdo each other. Well, this advocate did this, so I'm going to top that, and then, oh, no, we can't have that, so I'm going to top that, and so on and so forth. That's not what advocacy is. And I'll be the first to admit, my advocacy efforts have petered out over time. I haven't really been as enthusiastic about raising awareness this year as I have in years past because, first of all, there's only so much you can say. There's only so much you can say and in so many ways of explaining it. As a matter of fact, I had a thought come to me last week, which kind of makes sense. And that is, I'm never again going to be cancer-free. Never. And most people would look at me and say, well, Jared, you're not battling cancer. That's kind of a false statement to say that you're never going to be cancer-free. No, it's not. This is how I see it, being a survivor. There are a lot of long-term after effects from chemo. One of those being allergic to the sun, photosensitivity, which is one of the most dominant after effects that I have noticed directly for the past, 25 years, 30 years. I have noticed that I'm allergic to the sun, and that's always been an issue that has affected me even as a child, and perhaps will affect me until the day I die. So, with that being said, the long-term after effects from the chemo puts me in that position where I will never be free of that. Why did I take the chemo? I had taken the chemo because I had cancer. So, for anyone to say, oh, so you're cancer-free for the rest of your life? No, actually I'm not. I will never again be cancer-free. I mean, if they come up with a cure for photosensitivity where I can actually go out in the sun and enjoy it, then then chances are I may be, cancer-free from that after effect. But I'm never going to, I will never totally and completely be cancer-free. Never again. But that's okay. In that regard, that's fine. Because I will always have a story to share, a story to tell. I try to be as inspirational and to offer hope to as many other warriors and families as possible, which is why I decided to take up advocacy. I never wanted to fight with anyone. I never imagined so much drama and so much back and forth bickering going on. And I never would have imagined that there are so many frauds using terminally ill children to get what they want. I just, to me, it's disgusting, and it's disheartening that so many people are doing this, and they want to pander down to everybody's emotional state to get what they want. Oh, you're such a savior. Oh, you're such a messiah. Whatever. That's not what advocacy is about. And yeah, I realize that there are a lot of bereaved parents who are advocates, and they're very vocal and outspoken about their mission and what they're trying to do. I understand all that. But there comes a point where, and maybe I'm wrong, but you can see this. Anyone can observe this. There comes a point where suddenly they make it about themselves. You can see it. And I know that really upsets people when I put it in that way. Well, Jared, how dare you? And so what if they make it about themselves? Well, what do you mean, so what? So if they make it about themselves, then frankly, they're not making it about the children. How can you make it about yourself and not make it about the kids? You can't have it both ways. But, I mean, people are using their child's downfall, or they're using the downfalls of other children to look all high and mighty on a throne. Look at me. I paid for the funeral of a warrior. Good for you. You don't have to plaster it all over social media. I paid for the groceries, and I paid the medical bills, and I've done this, and I've done that. Aren't I so special? No. Not anymore. I would have respected you more if you would have kept that thing off social media. If you would have kept those good deeds. Because the minute you put it on social media, you are essentially looking for validation from people. You're looking to be noticed and glorified as some kind of a hero. I see this at least 5 times a day. The same person being held up on a pinnacle all the time. Really? He's not the only one who was directly impacted by this. There are other people out here. Hello. We just don't gloat about what we do. We can help people, in which I have helped a lot of people, but I don't gloat about it. I don't feel the need or the desire to be number one. That's not why I became an advocate in the first place. I became an advocate because of my own journey, and I wanted to, like I said, reach out to as many people as I could and say, hey, you're not alone in this. You have someone out here who's been there and done that. I'm, nearly 30 years past my journey, or my battle. The journey never ends. But I'm 30 years out from my diagnosis and going through that. Next March will be 30 years. We call that the Cancerversary, which is the anniversary date of our diagnosis. And I know that was a mouthful, and that was just a lot to go over, but that's kind of what bothers me anymore about this whole advocacy issue. And then there are so many people who wonder why childhood cancer is never taken seriously. Well, we got to stop making it about us and really and truly keep the focus on the children. That's what you have to do. And there's a lot of people, they don't like my style of advocacy because, well, they say, well, Jared, you caused a lot of that drama. Well, if that's how you see it, as me causing drama, I'm sorry you feel that way. But I'll be damned if I'm going to sit back and keep my mouth shut while there are people out there not only faking to have cancer, making a mockery of this disease to get money, but you have people who are claiming to have the nonprofit organizations when they're not legitimate, which is why I share GuideStar.org every week. And they're collecting money under false pretenses, in which case that becomes, I don't know, money laundering of some kind. It's illegal just to say that you have a 501c3 or an LLC when you don't. And the only reason I share GuideStar is to catch people in their lies, so they don't get away with that anymore. That's why I share GuideStar.org, and it pisses people off. I know it is just so excruciatingly painful to expose people who are using terminally ill children to look like a hero. It's so heartbreaking to some people, I know. I'm not sorry. I wish I could say I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry for that. I'm not sorry for exposing people who deserve to be exposed. And, you know, if anybody ever did that to me or my family, if anyone is exploiting children, it's the frauds. They're the ones who are exploiting children to get what they want. If anyone ever exploited me in that way, my parents would have their head on a pike. You just don't do that to kids, especially kids who are dying from this disease every day. It's an everyday occurrence. It happens every day, all the time. There's nothing rare about childhood cancer, and that's something else I'm getting rather fed up with hearing. This word rare in the same sentence as childhood cancer. Please. I wish I had a number. The statistics. I think they say 1 in every 285 children. But I'm not quite sure. I'll have to see if I can find the let's see here. I'll have to see if I can find the number. Yeah, I'll look later. But all I know is, for a disease that is extremely quotidian, I don't see how the word rare could ever possibly appear in the same sentence as childhood cancer. I just don't understand it. I don't have the number with me right off, but I do know that it's an abomination to say that cancer is rare when it's killing so many children. It's claiming so many lives every day. But we have this, it's this back and forth, this WWE style back and forth, like, you know, it should never be a competitive sport, being an advocate. Advocacy means that we're supposed to be together, you know, like the community that most people are always preaching about, that, well, we're all in this together. No, we're not. No, we're not. There's more division than unity, and that's the problem. That is the problem in this so-called community. My advocacy efforts aren't dwindling out. They're not fading away, because my haters would love that so much. But my enthusiasm has petered out over time, because it's when I see it for what most people are trying to make it out to be, and it's like, really? So that's why no one takes this seriously. That's exactly why no one takes this seriously, because they're always making it about them. It's a pissing match. It's a witch hunt. It's always about who can do the best, who's at the top. You know, these big name people. There should be no big name in childhood cancer anywhere. You can't have it both ways, where we're talking about, oh, this community, but yet we're going to hold certain people to higher standards, and we worship them as a messiah. Please. I don't want to be worshipped as anything. You know, people say to me, well, Jared, you're a walking, talking miracle. You are proof that anything is possible. Well, not anything is possible. But, you know, yeah, I guess I would be proof that you know, it's possible to be a survivor. But I will say, Wilms tumor is also a very deadly form of childhood cancer. One warrior that comes to mind in particular, she passed from Wilms tumor, a very aggressive form of Wilms tumor. And a warrior sister, that because her death, I think about that a lot. And it's like, I had that same cancer. It could have potentially killed me, and it didn't. And, when I talked to Dr. Scott, the last time I talked to Dr. Scott, when I went to his practice there in Lansing, he still had the yellow folder, and I've talked about this a lot, but he had the consent forms that my parents had to sign for the chemo, the radiation, and the blood transfusion. I don't know if I had just the one blood transfusion or several, which is something else I perhaps should look into. But that's how things were done in 1989. I don't know if that's how things are still done. I'm sure you got to sign some kind of a document, a consent form. You know how I see that, and many people may or may not have seen it the same way, but this is how I see it. It is a permission slip to give people the permission to pump poison into your child. A permission slip. I can't imagine what was going through my parents' minds when they had to sign that document saying, yeah, it's okay to give my son poison, chemo. Yeah, it's okay to give him the radiation. It's okay to do the blood transfusion. But I understand they were willing to try anything once. If it's going to help, if it's going to save my child's life, it's a chance you got to take. It's a risk, but it's a risk we have to take. We may try this disease, or not the disease, we may try this treatment. It may make things worse. It may help. But with chemo, that's par for the course. You're always going to have just the nastiest, the most awful effects from the chemo. Especially vincristine. Vincristine, and it is a widely known chemo drug that most all cancer patients use. I'm sure at one time vincristine is a predominant chemo. I think all warriors, even adult warriors, use vincristine. Vincristine was introduced, I think, in 1963. I'll have to check my sources, but vincristine is an old chemo drug. They're using adult chemo drugs on children. And I think what most of the advocacy is about is we need to have safer, and I use the word gentler treatments. I use that term loosely because it's chemo. It's poison. There's nothing gentle about injecting poison into your body. So I have to use that term very loosely. And I know I've talked a lot about this, but I think that's why the movement is not working. First of all, because they try to glamorize it. Childhood cancer is no walk in the park. When you try to glamorize it, when you try to make it, when you try to make yourself out to be, you capitalize on this by trying to make yourself look like some hero or some, the town mayor, so to speak. When you're making it about yourself and when you're glamorizing this to make it look like something that, hey, you don't know what it is unless you've been behind those closed curtains, nobody's going to take this seriously. You have to start really making it about the children. Stop making it about you. And I'll say it again, stop making it about you. Perhaps we may see some changes, and I realize, you got to fight big pharma. So it's not just people who are, doing things to make themselves look good. It's also big pharma, and that is a very long discussion that I've gotten into with several people, and I don't wish to talk about it here because, I want to get this done and out of the way. In terms of, I've got the rest of the day to do whatever I have to do or to do whatever I want to do. I've been here for about a half an hour, and it's about 25 to 3. So I imagine it's going to take the rest of the day for this to upload to my channel. But I haven't turned my back on children. I never will. I will never, I can never stop being a survivor. And you know, I was giving this a thought last night because, as many of you know, I was in Bay City last evening and I was driving home and I got to thinking, you know, everybody tells me, Jared, maybe your haters are just jealous of you because you can actually say you've been there. And all these haters, who most of them are indirectly affected by childhood cancer, they don't like it because you were in that position. But at the same time, it's like, why would you be jealous of that? Why would you be jealous of me having a deadly disease, something that could have potentially killed me, and I come out as a survivor, and now I'm talking about it and trying to open up to as many people as I can, not for the notoriety and the popularity. That's where my goal is different from everybody else's. That's where I differ from the rest of the so-called community. And I understand that there are some parents who come up with the 501c3s. They do it for themselves to help themselves heal after that. And I'm not denouncing that, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. What I'm talking about are those people who stand on mountaintops and they, you know, I am your man. I am, you know, they act like, I don't know, like prehistoric cave dwellers, you know, beating their chest. Like, oh, look at me, I'm such a man, you know, worship me, and I'm just, I can't compete with that, and I wouldn't want to. But I'm guessing that's why the movement, there's two reasons why actually three if you count Big Pharma, but there's actually two reasons why the movement is not making big strides, and everybody wants to sit and pretend like we're moving in the right direction, we're making big strides. Oh, the government's signing laws and bills into legislation. Well, so what? So what? You have to stop making it about you, first of all. Second of all, stop glamorizing it. Because there's nothing glamorous about cancer at all. Whether you're a grown-up or a child, there's nothing glamorous about it. We need to really start making it about the kids. Keep the focus on the children. And yeah, again, that's a mouthful, and I'm going to take another swig of my coffee. Yeah, usually I have input from Dad and Amy. Amy's in the bedroom. And Dad, he's over at our friend's house. I might buzz over there in a little while. I'm not sure what I'm going to do after I wrap up this video update, but I feel better that I could get that off my chest. Just to talk about, you know, to offer my opinions about things. Not to piss anybody off, make anybody upset, but there are some things that really and truly need to be said. And, you know, love me or hate me, I'm going to tell you how it is. And, you know, when I said I'm an advocate, that's what I meant. I'm 100 proof. Not only am I a voice for the kids, but I'm also going to speak out against fraudulent people. If you've never said anything with truth in it to upset people, then you haven't said anything. Because if you're only going to say what's already agreed upon, you're just reinforcing their thoughts. You have to be willing to acknowledge that, you know, this is a problem and we need to change this. This needs fixing here. And we will come back to this over here and do the fixing over here a little later. But right now, we got to work on this. And, you know, it's alcohol on the open cut. because the truth burns too much. Nobody likes to be confronted with truth. They don't like to have it thrown in their face. And quite frankly, that's not my problem. I only speak truth. And, even on Twitter, those of you who are my Twitter followers, and you're currently following me or you're subscribed to my channel here, I mean, just last week I had an incident where I complimented someone, a young actress. I complimented her on her friendship. I'm not going to give a name, but I complimented her on her friendship. And I said, well, your friendship is valued. And in some, because I'm paraphrasing, I don't even remember exactly what was said, but I always treat people the way that I want to be treated. It was a compliment. If a compliment is something that frightens you, I'm sorry you feel that way, and I'm sorry that we live in this kind of a world now, but not everything in the world, especially a compliment, has some kind of a hidden secret sexual innuendo behind it. You can compliment people on their looks, or you look very nice today, or you have a beautiful smile, or you have a glowing smile. Something that is complimentary. It doesn't mean that you're hitting on them. It doesn't mean that you're coming on to them. I mean, I don't understand how we as people allowed ourselves to get to that point. I have lots of female friends, and I compliment them all the time on how beautiful they are. It doesn't mean that I want to, get serious with them. A lot of them are married. Why would I do that? But it doesn't necessarily mean that I want to, get fresh with them. It's just, I'm a person who, if I see a beautiful woman, and I have, like I said, I have a lot of beautiful female friends. But that's as far as it goes. I'm not saying, hey, you and me. No. I mean, and anyway, what I do as a grown adult with another grown adult, that's my business. Nobody's got to know my business. But even with that being said, it's like, I have female friends, lots of female friends. And they are beautiful. They are like really, really super gorgeous. And that doesn't mean that, I want to get serious with them. That's the world we live in now, unfortunately. That's where everybody's heads are at. Because everything revolves around sex. Well, I'm sorry, but no, it doesn't. Maybe in your world, but not in reality, which is what I choose to live by. And it reminds me of a time when I was on Facebook. I got banned from a page. And the person, they were loyal to their idiotic way of thinking. Well, we can ban you from a page. You can so much as wear a certain color shirt that we don't like. We can ban you if we don't like the color red. Thank you for proving my point. You have these idiotic reasons for taking the actions that you did, and you've just confirmed that you acknowledge and you're loyal to your idiotic behavior. Why would you do that? But that's what I kind of love about people now. They know that they're foolish, and they own up to it, which is what I would expect, and that's what I would hope for. So I'm not complaining, but it's like, yeah, you just admitted to me how ignorant you are. You can ban someone because they wear a red shirt. Well, how do you know what color shirt I'm wearing? You can't see me through the screen unless I'm doing a Sunday video update or if I'm doing a Facebook Live. But I don't have Facebook anymore. There's a lot on my mind, obviously. And these are just some things that I've been kind of pandering over, and it's like, stop trying to make me out to be the bad guy in something or in everything. Breathing seems to be something that makes me a bad guy. I'm such a horrible villain of a person. Please. Please. I can do things without the strings attached. I can do things without wanting to be the center of attention all the time. And, well, if it wasn't for me, I don't care. If other people want to mention me in their posts or in a tweet or whatever in a positive way, okay, I'm not going to stop them. I'm not doing this for the praise, though. I'm doing this because at some point, that was me in their position, and I just want them to know that I understand. And again, I can't emphasize enough. I don't want to walk above people. I want to walk among people. And that's always been my goal, my mission. But some people out there in the world, actually many people, they can't live without. They gotta have that, they gotta be that center of attention all the time. And it kind of bugs me when my friends will hold certain other people as a pinnacle. Isn't this so cute? Isn't this so wonderful? Isn't this so beautiful? No. Now it's not, because if they would have done that without their need for everybody to know what they're doing, it would have been fine. But to plaster it all over social media and then to see my friends retweet things, it's like, even on, my dad will show me his Facebook page and he'll say, hey, come over here, and I'll look over his shoulder, and it's the same person every 5 posts. Isn't this person wonderful? Aren't they so extravagant? I mean, they worship the ground that certain people walk on. I can't foresee that. I just can't. And a lot of people would interpret that as jealousy. I'm not jealous of anyone. What do I have to be jealous of? If anything, they should be jealous of me, because I can do things without the need to be known or noticed. I don't know. I'm not trying to make myself out to be a celebrity in the childhood cancer community. And that's what it's become. It's become like it's treated like such an exclusive club. I don't know if, many of you may be affected by childhood cancer directly. All I ask is that, just stop and smell the roses for a minute. Stop and smell the gold ribbons. Is this really what it's come to? Glamorizing something that claims the life of a child, every day? Is this really what it's come down to? Because I'm telling you, it's making it harder for the people, especially us survivors who become advocates. It makes it so hard for us to be able to share our stories with other people to provide hope, when in fact we have people who are they are behaving in ways that are narcissistic, and those behaviors are unbridled. They don't keep it under wraps. They have to tell everybody what they're doing. They have to be the center of attention, the main focal point, all the time. All the time. And I've rambled on, I know, I'm sorry, but I've been passionate about raising awareness to childhood cancer now for the past 5 years. And now that I kind of mellow out a little bit and I just kind of sit back and I observe and I see what's really going on, it's like, this is the problem. It's not so much fighting Big Pharma, although that is another issue for another day, but directly what we can see in front of us, and it's observant of other people, and it can be, is the fact that we have people who are just trying to make themselves look like big shots. I can't have that. I just can't do it. If I won the lottery and if I won hundreds of millions, I would be doing so much for so many people. But here's the thing. I wouldn't want the notoriety. I want to help people for the sake of humanity, for the sake of helping someone else in need. if I were to donate so much money to cancer research, I don't want to be in the front page paper. Well, we got to make this known. We have to make this known. No, because it just, at that moment in time, it just, to me, it cheapens the experience. It cheapens the deed of helping. You have to be loyal enough to pay it forward, even when no one's watching. You can still do things that don't require you to post it on social media. And that's where I kind of lose respect for people who do things like that. It's okay to help people, but man, when you gotta, I respect you up until the point you put it on your Facebook or your Instagram or your Twitter. Look at me. That's where I draw the line. That's where your deed becomes devalued and disingenuous. It becomes null and void after that. It's like you killed it. You had a good thing going until you put it on social media, you killed it. The idea is gone. Now, if you say, hey, there's an event coming up to support this warrior, wonderful. That's great. That's different because you're making people aware of, ooh, my nose itches. You're making people aware that there's an event coming up and it's going to help this warrior. Or if you have a donation, a fundraiser going on and you want people to be aware of that, that's fine. But, it's like, do it for, anything else you do in life, do it for, just do it for the sake of humanity. Do it for the sake of being a person who has a kind, beautiful heart. You don't have to put everything on social media, because here's the thing. You get to go to sleep at night knowing that you made a difference in someone else's life. And for me, as a survivor and an advocate, and even as a poet, I try to implement that philosophy through my poetry. That not everything you do in the world has to be known. I mean, the same could be said about me sharing my poetry. Just that alone. Well, Jared, you're just sharing your poetry to get the kudos and the attention. Here's the thing. Poetry, much like songwriting, they're kind of in the same neighborhood. Poetry is philosophical. I think long before music, we had poems. And that's why I think I enjoy the music of the 1960s so much, because a lot of that music at that time was poetry put into a song. And that's what I loved, when you mix the two arts together. When you add painting and rock and roll, kind of like what the Beatles did, That's what I love. That's what I enjoy. It's philosophy. It's art. It's about love. That's why I'm a poet. Because I love expressing myself poetically. I love sharing my work with people. Not for the attention, but to make people think and to look at life differently. To be less myopic about everything, Just care about people. Show love. Be compassionate. Do it even when no one's watching. That's how you earn the respect of the people around you, is when you look at each individual person. You treat them with dignity and respect in the way that they should be treated. That's all you have to do. And when you do that simultaneously with, especially like with me being an advocate, there's a lot of warriors I've met in the past 5 years. I flew to New York to meet a warrior. And he's a Wilms tumor survivor like I am. There are things that we did when I was there, just hanging out and, spending time with them, playing video games or whatever. There are things that we'd done that I didn't have to put on Twitter. I didn't have to put it on YouTube. Because those moments that I share with my friends, those are moments that are, they're somewhat sacred. Moments that I get to share with my friends, the whole world doesn't have to know. If I do something wonderful for anyone, friends included, the whole world doesn't need to know. Just be yourself and do what's right for the sake of humanity. You know, that statistic is driving me crazy. I think it's 1 in 285, but I could be mistaken, and I don't want to give any false information. I don't want to be... I think it is 1 in 285, but 1 in every 285 children. I'll Google that. Statistics, children with cancer. Approximately 1 in 285 children in the U.S. will be diagnosed with cancer. And this is from the American Childhood Cancer Organization. Each year in the United States, there are an estimated 15,780 children between the ages of birth and 19 years of age who are diagnosed with cancer. Approximately 1 in 285 children in the U.S. will be diagnosed with cancer before their 20th birthday. Globally, there are more than 300,000 children diagnosed with cancer each year. Every 3 minutes, somewhere in the world, a family hears the devastating words that their child has been diagnosed with cancer. While survival rates for many types of childhood cancer have improved, for too many children, cancer will shorten their lives too soon. Cancer remains the most common cause of death by disease for children in America. So with all those statistics being read, and I just read that from the American Childhood Cancer Organization, and I hope I don't get in trouble for reading it, but it's useful information. So even with those statistics, what I just read to you, how do we fit the word rare? How do we squeeze that into the same equation? How does that fit into the same algorithm as the statistics that I just read to you? Now, these are scientifically proven statistics, folks. These aren't just numbers that we pull out of our backside. These are scientifically proven statistics. You know, much in the same way that when I tell people all the time when they come to me and they say, well, we heard this about you and there's these rumors going around. That's wonderful, but do you have evidence for that? Can you actually prove empirical evidence of anything? You know, much in the same way that when your child was diagnosed with the cancer, you depended on empirical evidence by professionals who examined and researched and done the investigation, and they analyzed what they were looking at, and they had made a determination based on evidence. Hello. Why then does evidence matter within the childhood cancer community, but outside of childhood cancer and every other aspect of life, you discard evidence and rational discourse? I just read statistics to you. Scientifically proven statistics. You know, they're not what do you call the pediatric oncologists? How did I forget that? Pediatric oncologists, they're not just a bunch of people. They're not a bunch of staunched cynics who are sitting around a table in a conference room. Well, we're going to flip a coin, and if it lands on heads, it's childhood cancer. If it lands on tails, we'll just go with pneumonia. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. I'm sorry that most people feel that way, but it's not how it works. They go by evidence. So I was correct. It's 1 in every 285 children. I knew I would get those statistics somewhere. But I've been here for a little while. My week, like I said, it's kind of not been so good. There's been so much on my mind, and everything I just kind of verbally vomited out in this video kind of illustrates what I've been thinking about all week. And I've been dying to get my thoughts out there, and when I did that recording of my thoughts on advocacy, that was just, that was a little taste of what I was going to talk about in this week's Sunday video update. And I know I've rambled, but, I do the best I can with the resources that I have, and not many. I don't have a lot of resources, but the resources I do have, I try to make the best. And if I see someone in need of help, I say, look, let me see what I can do to help. And I help them. I don't need praise. I don't need front page news. I don't need, CNN or ABC headlines. I don't need all that. Because in my heart, I know that what I'm doing is right. And if other people see that, if other people notice what I do, okay. I'm noticed by a lot of people, for better or worse. But for the people who notice me for the good things I do, and not just, well, all these rumors are going around. Yeah. Nobody should care about rumors, but it's not so much my reputation. Reputation is what other people try to make you out to be. Your character is what counts the most. Your character is when you can treat people nicely and fairly when no one else is watching. It's where your loyalty comes in. Loyalty makes up your character. And most people, they care more about reputation than their character. And that's, it's very selfish. And it's very narcissistic. And that's where it becomes a problem. I don't know. I'm beating a dead horse here. But that's the main gist of personally what I think, why the movement is not making big strides. Because there's too much of me all the time. How are we doing today, Amy?
Good. Just checking on Barkley. I thought I heard him moving around.
Is he okay in my bedroom?
Yeah, he's okay. He's still sleeping.
Nah.
It's just, I don't think he's feeling good.
I don't think he's feeling well either. I noticed that too for like the past week or so now. He's been coming in the room with me and getting in bed with me. And
yeah.
Because usually he's out here with Dad.
Yeah. I think, for one, he knows that you're going through a lot right now.
I am.
And he's trying to be, just like him with me, they're trying to be as close as they can to us right now.
We've all kind of had a rocky week.
Yeah.
But it's not just me. I think it's all of us. It's so dismal around here.
Yeah, I was just in the restroom back here and heard him moving around in there on the bed. So I thought I'd just stop in and check on him, thinking Scruffy might have been bothering him.
And I don't come on here whining and complaining, but, we all go through something.
Yeah.
I mean, and this past week has just been rather crappy.
I mean, from the stress and then finding out the death on your brother's side.
Yeah, my brother Wayne, he's my half-brother, but I consider him a brother. His Uncle Dale had passed away last week at the age of 61, and I think the funeral's going to be in Saginaw.
Yeah.
Is it Snow Funeral Home? Is it called Snow?
Yep, Snow Funeral Home in Saginaw.
I think it's on Brockway.
I think so.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's the 26th.
Yeah.
And then the 27th, I go to the knee specialist.
See, she's got things going on in her life. I got things going on in mine. Dad, he's going through whatever he's going through. I think we can all see it.
Yeah.
Like a trifecta of depression. We can see it within each other.
Yeah. I've already told Dad, come the 1st, I'm letting him and my doctor decide if they want to admit me or what.
I haven't been taking my Lexapro either.
For a change of meds.
And I know I should. So before you email me or, text me, I know I should.
Yeah.
I'm just going through so much.
And on top of that note, I pretty much would be going in for what I call a vacation from the world.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's just, I don't know if you've been listening, but it's just like I was telling my listeners here. It's, you know, you can only do so much. And then you have other people who just, they seem to have it all. Maybe they don't have it all. Maybe I'm just being a little too forward and I'm assuming that they have it all. Because assuming things is never a smart road to take, but
And
they always want to be the center of attention all the time. And what that does is it overshadows what the rest of us are trying to do.
yeah. And see, and me, I'm trying to be out of the, shit, crap that's going on at my mom's house. But
That's all drama. That's drama.
Yes. Kelly is moving out in a week, and we are to take tomorrow morning before 6. We gotta be up, go to my mom's, from my mom's, leave for Dordt Highway
Well, we got to be in Flint.
to the bus station, train station there, and drop her off, leave her there, and then find our way back. But like I told my brother, I said the thing we can do is we can have you Google from my mom's address.
The Amtrak station in Flint?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Amtrak? That's trains, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, yep.
It's on, I think it's on Miller Road.
They sent me a text message and it's on Dixie Highway.
Bridgeport? Birch Run? Frankenmuth?
Flint.
Flint. So it'd be Dordt Highway.
Yep,
Because the name changes. It's Genesee County, so the name of the road changes.
yep.
Dordt Highway. Because the only Amtrak station I know is over by I-69. Maybe, no, you're right. It is Dordt Highway because it's right at the intersection of where Dordt comes up to 69.
Yeah, I Googled,
I've been there. I should have known that.
We Googled it from here,
I know where it is.
and we take 57 into Montrose.
Yeah, you go through Montrose, you go through Clio, you go down, it's called Saginaw Road, but you can go Saginaw Road, take it right into Flint.
Yep.
Yeah, it's right at the corner of Dordt Highway and I-69.
And
so it's like...
I think we take pretty much the same way as what we took to go to Lansing for my...
Not Dordt Highway. Lansing is that way.
Oh, no, that was Dixie Highway.
Yeah. And even still, Dixie doesn't go into Lansing. Lansing is back over this way.
Okay.
Dixie Highway is way over there.
Okay. But
Dixie Highway goes a long way.
I got the address and everything. I'll let you look it up
Because
later.
Dixie turns into Genesee Avenue when you come into Saginaw. And then when you head south, you go through Flint and all that.
Then you know how you...
I think it goes into Pontiac or down to Detroit.
You know how you did a road map to get us up to my son's? I'm going to have you do that on a piece of paper.
It's not hard to
So
find.
if you don't want... I mean, because it's going to be before, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So, like I told Dad, I said, if Jared don't want to go, it can be...
I'm sure I'll go.
You know, me, Wayne, Jared. Or it will be just me and Wayne. But my brother's going to have money.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll go. I mean, just to ride to Flint. I mean.
And like I told my brother, I says, I'll put you up front with Dad.
Yeah, because I know where pretty much everything is.
I'll sit in the back with the thing we're taking.
My MSU.
I don't want to... I know you're live, so I don't want to call her what I told my brother. But
Yeah, we want to keep it clean because there are young ones watching.
Yeah.
But, I mean, so in a nutshell, there's been so much going on.
And like I said earlier, the lady that was supposed to be taking care of my mom, she's moving out in a week.
And that's what's going on in her world, and in my world, it's just this quibble that I have with people who are selfish and...
Dad's not only dealing with trying to deal with you and be able to talk and work things out with you.
I tried to,
he's trying to do the same with me.
That's why I stay confined to my bedroom.
And then the thing
I let my mind wander. I let it race, and I say, look, I'm going to isolate myself. Just give me a couple hours or so. That's why I go for my joyrides, just to get the heck out of here.
It was honestly nice when you're going east and you're going south and then east again on the motorcycle yesterday.
Yeah.
But once we were coming back,
it got chilly.
We hit 57. That wind's just right in and it's like, oh my.
When I was in Bay City last night, I was at what do they call that, Riverwalk Pier, and there's a breeze coming off the Saginaw River. It got cold. It got chilly. It's like, oh, I should have wore a jacket or a long sleeve shirt or something. It got chilly out there. Yeah. But I love Bay City.
Well, Dad, he's wearing his sweatshirt, and his leather jacket, and still was cold.
Yeah, it's chilly.
I'm wearing just a hoodie with 2 shirts on underneath.
And the leaves, I hear the leaves are starting to turn color because now it's officially fall.
They say it's supposed to, but ours are still green out here.
And it's like I told Dad. I said, when the seasons change, like from summer to fall, we get that big gust of wind. It was windy on Friday. We were under a wind advisory. And it was, what I'm assuming was the change of the seasons, where when you get that gust of wind, it changes the color. The fall foliage in Michigan is absolutely beautiful.
And like Dad and I were talking too, you got all those hurricanes going on down south.
Yeah.
And we're getting all the
wind and the clouds. We get the throw off clouds. Sometimes the precipitation, the rain and thunderstorms. So we get all that throw off precipitation. We haven't really been too impacted. I mean, other than the wind.
My brother's been down in Illinois and Texas, and he says they're getting hammered. He's going through rain right now. Yeah.
The southern and southeastern United States, because the hurricane, when we had Florence hit the United States, that was, world news. That was front page news.
Yeah.
We had electric companies from Michigan assist in helping people with power outages, and the American Red Cross, the Michigan chapters, and all that.
Matter of fact, Saginaw don't even have enough help here because they sent them over there to help there. So it's going to take forever for them to get power up for people that lost power.
Yeah. And we've had power outages here, and I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, from the wind. And the power restoration times, the estimated restoration times are extended now because, like you said, our crew are over in the Carolinas helping people rebuild and get their, which is good. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but when we need the help here, it's like, hey, we need our boys, we need our people to help us here, but
yeah, they even mentioned that on the news this morning, that they're trying to get more help because they're underemployed right now, might as well say. They don't have enough employees working here. So,
yeah,
all that's up in the air. They had brought down trees, I guess, and they were showing power lines. And
did Dad say when he was coming back?
No, he's going to stay over there and
I gotta find a pair of socks. My feet are like
all
ice.
The kitchen work, counters and all that, and get the kitchen sink in.
Probably have to do some laundry and wash some socks.
And then he will be turning around and doing the bathroom sink also. So
I haven't been over there in a while. I should buzz over there and see how they're coming along.
He came out and told me that he'll be home whenever he can. And I told him I just ain't going to call him no more so that he can get done what he's got to do and get home and get some sleep.
And
I mean, we were out till 1, 2 o'clock last night.
Yeah.
But I got rid of my headache I had.
Yeah, I thought I thought I was awake when you guys got home.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were still awake.
Oh yeah, because my sleeping patterns are down the drain. I'm back at staying up all night again.
But no, it was actually pretty cool. You were, I think, in bed by...
I didn't get to bed until early this morning. I actually went to sleep about 6 o'clock this morning.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm right back in the old routine, staying awake all night, and it's like, yeah, whatever.
And when you get offline, there's something else I can talk to you about. But...
Well, I'm not online now. I mean, when I'm done with the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'll let you get doing what you're doing, and I'm going to check on him one more time.
So that's Amy for you guys. She had quite a bit to say this week. I'm surprised because you usually don't have much to say.
I know.
But that's fine.
I just need to let it out.
You know, this is we're just like any ordinary person. We have our ups and downs, and we have.
And it don't help either right now that I don't see my counselor.
Yeah, a lot of people have suggested I go back to a counselor, but it's like
You know, like
I've tried counseling and it just doesn't work.
Well, like
Not for me.
Like I told Dad too, I says, you know, it's honestly harder for a male, to go and try to admit himself, and it makes him a better man when he does.
Yeah.
But you males come out.
Us males.
I can do it on my own.
Us chest-beating males.
I'm high and mighty. I've got everything on my shoulders, and I can tend to it. But us women...
I can't. Not always.
We just cower down and go on a vacation for a few days.
Well, I know some pretty strong viral women in the world.
Honestly, I give myself credit.
You've been doing pretty good.
Yes.
But there,
It's been almost a year that I haven't been in the hospital.
I know a lot of men who do break under so much pressure, the weight of their problems, and I know a lot of viral women. They're strong and independent, and they don't let things get to them so much.
And you figure Dad and I have also been dealing with your brother Jay with his issues.
Yeah. So there's every which way. I mean, what is it? The season for depression now?
That's what we're all thinking, because I even got a friend in Owasso that posted on one of my posts because I says the depression's hitting me hard right now.
It's hitting all of us, I would say.
She says, yeah, it's hitting me too, sus.
It's hitting me. I mean, but I think the biggest quibble is the fact that, you know, when you, like, for example, say you were an advocate for mental issues. Like, you wanted to be an advocate to raise awareness, and you very well could.
Yes.
Now, say you became an advocate for that. You want to raise awareness to, like, suicide and you know, depression, anxiety.
I got all that under my belt. I've been doing it since 2002.
But let's say you became an advocate. You become a part of a larger community where there are many more people among you who are directly impacted by what you are advocating awareness for. When you see certain people being held up as a pinnacle, like a god, so to speak, like a messiah, and that's what's happening with the childhood cancer community. And I don't say that out of you know, being mean or
spite.
I'm not trying to be spiteful, but it drives me absolutely crazy that people just can't do what they want to do for the sake of being good people. They gotta have their names and their faces plastered everywhere. They gotta be on the front page of every newspaper. They gotta have press. They gotta have all of this. And these are grown adults.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanna spotlight a child battling, fine.
Have you even noticed that some of the parents of the cancer warriors, I understand, like for Buddy Boy, you know, they advertised about his conditions.
They did a segment or whatever on the news, I think is what
that's understandable.
Yeah.
But there are other people out there that are taking advantage of the publicity.
The publicity. That's what I'm talking about. They're doing this for publicity purposes only. And it's become a tagline, well, I'm doing this for the kids. No, that is an ambiguous statement.
No, some of them kids aren't even able to talk yet.
And by ambiguous, what I mean is there are some people who say it and actually mean it, and there are some people who say it and they're in it for themselves.
Right.
It's an ambiguous statement. It's a tagline.
But as I was saying, you get a baby that can't even talk for itself, sitting in front of a TV screen,
Yeah.
advertising this baby everywhere in the world.
Uh-huh.
So
I would say there's like mild exploitation going on,
yeah,
especially with the people who are just in it for themselves. They are willing. I mean, it's like on Facebook they have this issue called farming, I think it is, where they steal pictures. They use pictures without the permission of the parents, and they will steal the pictures and share them just to get the likes and the shares and the hearts and the reactions, because anything to do with children is emotionally charged and it's reactionary. So, hey, we're going to share those pictures and post them, and we're going to get the likes and the loves, and every time someone likes or loves or shares something, they get paid. That's why I don't know how true it is.
Right.
But
your answer for me being an advocate for depression,
yeah, mental health.
yes, I could actually do something like that.
Of course you could.
But the thing I look at is what you go through being an advocate for the cancer, pediatric cancer.
Right.
And would I be able to handle all that backlash?
Could you handle the heat of actually speaking the truth?
Yeah. And then having people come back and fire at me.
Yeah, they
and try to shoot my backbone, you know.
Shoot your backbone. Well, ain't nobody gonna shoot my backbone. You know, but here's something to look at though, is the fact that we're survivors. I'm a survivor of my inflictions, you're a survivor of yours. That's what other people would need to hear.
I've been told I need to go to college and get my degree in counseling.
You should.
Psychology.
You should. But it's just so costly.
Well, it's not just that, Jared. I'd have to have one-on-one tutor and all that because of my mental disabilities and me being slow and not comprehending don't work.
Well, here's the thing, though. Given that you've been through and you're still going through, that's always going to be the issue. But the fact that you directly know what that is, you understand what that is. And that's the point I'm trying to make. You understand that, just like I understand childhood cancer.
I wished I would have known more back when I was like 15, 16 years old. And I wish I would have got help back then.
And you're not doing this, and it's not like you'd be doing it to make yourself look good. You'd be doing it to help other people.
Yeah. I mean, I get so bad, I get the shakes and everything.
I don't care, like the people who, and as I've mentioned here numerous times, the people who are doing this for the publicity and to get their kudos and, they treat this like it's some kind of a WWE style match. Well, it's advocate versus advocate, fist to fist blows. I mean, come on. When I talk about someone who's being a fraud, that's not me making an attack on them. That's me attacking what they're doing.
Someone snoring logs in your room and it ain't you, Jared.
I'm guessing many people are probably falling asleep listening to me jibber jabber. So I guess we'll end the video here. I've been here for...
Well, Jared, I guess you won't be laying down.
Well over an hour. Yeah, I'm not going to lay down.
Unless you lay down on Dad's couch, because he's got your whole bed.
I'm not tired.
You weren't in bed, so he took up the whole middle of your bed.
Yeah, I'm not tired.
I'm going to pop back in here and take
care of your business. But I'm going to wrap this up. So thank you, Amy, for the input.
You're welcome, and thank you for your input.
Sure.
And I might actually think more about that.
Yeah, just reach out to people. But and I will say, not as an insult, but like you said, and I'm just reiterating what you said, you have to be able to have the mental capacity to handle.
Yeah, I think that's why I'd rather wait right now.
But here's the thing, you're not actually a counselor, because counselors take in what people are saying.
That's the issue with me. I try to work everybody else's problem.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Be an advocate, but just say, I know what you're going through. I know what that's like. And I'm going to be a voice for you, my fellow friends who are dealing with similar issues as I am. You don't have to, you can talk to one another and kind of get a feel for one another and say, I know what you mean, man. I've been there and done that myself. You don't have to take everything they tell you to heart.
Right. Well, like you've got these kids that are warriors.
Sure.
And I know you feel their pain, you feel their depression from what they're going through.
I do.
Dad can turn around, and Dad can also know what that child's going through, plus he also knows what he went through when you had it.
That's why sometimes when I go on my joyrides to Lansing, Dad, I'll say, Dad, you want to go to Lansing with me? Nah. He has nothing else to do, and that's why I ask him.
Yeah.
Just to get him out of the house, but I think a lot of it has to do with the memories.
Yeah.
Because
the memories are too bad.
Because, and it's just the same way with my mother. She cannot go to Lansing without feeling uneasy, because the city where we spent a lot of time at Sparrow, they associate the city with what I had gone through.
Yeah.
The city's not going away. It's not going anywhere.
And it would be like Owasso.
Yeah.
You know, because that's where I go for all my treatment.
Yeah.
Medical treatment and all. And
It's you associate certain places and certain cities and certain whatever.
And I think it's cruel that the county you live in condemns you because you use another county.
Yeah, we live in Saginaw County, Owasso, Shiawassee.
Well, see, I am Saginaw County, and
yeah,
I use Shiawassee, and Saginaw County CMH do not like that. But I come right out, and I told them I've been with all my doctors there for longer than you can think of it.
But even with that being said, now, like when you go like to the stress unit, or when you get seen by a Shiawassee CMH worker, and say, for example, you get admitted to the stress unit, doesn't that have to be approved by Saginaw CMH?
Yep.
So they would have to know either way, because you're a resident of Saginaw County.
Well, it's because of the fact that I never took the steps I was supposed to.
Mm.
My steps are call Saginaw Crisis Line, talk to somebody there, then go be admitted, or talk to the CMH there. They end up frickin' calling Saginaw, talking to Saginaw to see if they can get an okay for me being admitted. Well, I found a route around all that red tape. That's why I'm waiting until the 1st. Because I go see the doctor, and we're going to decide from there, between me, Dad, and him, what to do.
Yeah.
I got people telling me I don't need to go.
I've come close to going to the stress unit.
That I got people to talk to.
But, I don't know.
Everyone's got their own issues right now. Why do I want to spill my issues out on them?
I've come close to going to the stress unit. I've never actually been a patient in the stress unit at Memorial, but I guess it's because I get too occupied. I think too much about other things. I think, like I have poetry and I have all these other things going for me.
And you gotta figure too, the only paper, like you got tablets, is your comprehension books that you can take in. You couldn't take your...
Oh, my composition book.
Yes. You cannot take your regular tablet like you do your
the wire binder. I couldn't do that because you can hurt yourself. You can pull apart the wire binder.
Oh, they've even got it now, Jared, to where, like, if I wanted to take my security blanket that I use, I can't do that. They won't let me have it. They leave it in my suitcase.
And the last time I was up there,
but I found some red tape around that
because they've changed everything up there at the stress unit. Now it's like going into a prison.
Yeah.
You have to put all your stuff into a locker because it's considered contraband, and you can't take certain objects in because there's patients who could potentially hurt themselves or not in the right state of mind.
Well, they even changed the beds. The beds are pretty much like a jail prison bed.
Yeah, like
they use
a cement slab?
Well, no,
or a cot?
Not really a cement slab or a cot. It's actually like a bed frame. But they used to have like you would in the hospital where you could lift your head up, your feet up, whichever. Well, they found out that they had the cord.
Oh, yeah.
And the
rest is history. Yeah, I get it. The cord, yeah.
Afraid of people, and the staff had the cord. So I don't understand why the staff couldn't come in, do what you wanted them to do with the bed. Mine was usually a 36-degree angle so I could sleep.
Yeah.
And take the cord back out, like they used to for me.
They changed the rules.
Yeah, you know what it is. They're under new management because of all the lawsuits and everything.
Yeah, well, that makes sense, I guess.
Yep.
I will say, though, and I went to see Jim, and, I mean, every time you turn around, there's always some kind of new security measure that they have to take. Well, now you have to show after a certain time, I think it's after 7 o'clock, you have to show a picture ID, a driver's license or whatever, when you come through not through the emergency department, but where you pick up and drop off the patients with the sliding doors. I don't have a problem with safety and security, but sometimes it just gets to be too much. It's just so overbearing, and there's too much emphasis on security.
You had to show your ID?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
Because I was there before 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, why? But even with that being said, if they see me come in, right, and say it's after 7 o'clock, and I walk out and I walk back in, why would I have to show my picture ID?
I'm kind of wondering.
They know who I am. They already had given me clearance to go where I had to go.
Well, you know what I'm wondering? I'm wondering if people are smuggling stuff into the hospital to the patients.
It could be.
And that's why they do it. And they're doing it after.
And I'm not
visiting hours.
I'm not degrading security. I wouldn't do that. We need to be safe.
Right. And
the safety of the patients, of course, but I'm saying just in life in general, there's just far too much emphasis on, it's because other people mess it up for the rest of us.
Yes.
Who don't do things like that.
Yep.
Well, now we got to be secure here. We got to be secure there and here and here. There's just far too much emphasis. It's almost impossible.
In the stress unit, say you got a pair of pants that have like a drawstring in them to tighten them up around the waist. Either you let them take that drawstring out, or that's going in your luggage and going in the locked closet.
I mean, when I was getting on the plane, when I was boarding my plane to fly to New York from Detroit, I mean, there was just so much you had to go through, and it was like, I don't have a problem with that. I want to be when I'm 40,000 feet in the air, I want to know that I'm going to be safe.
Right.
And no one's going to, go ape shit on a plane.
Right.
But even with that being said, it's like, this is quite the process just to fly on an airplane.
Oh.
On a jet, but it was worth it in the end.
Did you hear on the news just recently? I don't remember where it was, but this 20-some-year-old, he was in training for flying a plane, and he ended up taking one of the American airplane lines.
Yeah.
And taking off on it, and they finally did catch him.
Wow. So he was training to be a pilot.
Yeah, he was training to be a pilot.
Oh, he got his training in. He chartered his own plane illegally.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they did end up catching him though, and he's paying the price.
Yeah, could you imagine being someone who flew? This doesn't look like New York. Why am I in Japan?
Yeah.
Why am I in Indonesia? What's going on here? This doesn't look like New York. All the people are talking differently and...
My sister-in-law's daughter.
Yeah.
I was telling Dad about how my brother wants us to take her to Flint tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
And Dad says, well, you know what? You tell your brother the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give her a one-way ticket to Mars.
One-way ticket to Mars. You know, I don't want to go to Mars.
Well,
there's no oxygen on Mars. You need oxygen to live.
Well,
there's no oxygen on Mars.
That would be perfect on my brother's part.
Yeah, there's no oxygen on Mars, and it's like 300 degrees below zero.
And they wouldn't find her. So.
You would freeze. You would die on Mars. You wouldn't survive. It's not sustainable for human life. You would die.
But yep.
But anyway.
Now you know Dad, his 2 cents.
Yeah, Dad's not here because usually I enjoy Dad's 2 cents when I'm doing my video updates here, but...
I do my best.
Yeah. But, okay.
He's doing good in here. I got the other one in here.
I've been here for an hour and a half. So I'm going to wrap this up because it's going to take forever to upload to my YouTube channel. YouTube, you got to work on something here. I'm so sick of it taking so... It takes 2 hours to upload an hour video.
Yeah. I'm just going to say, Jared, on that note, you wrapping it up. Thanks, guys, for letting me vent, listening to me. If you have anything that you want to say to Wayne or Jared, go for it. And they will get the information to me, and I will accept it all.
Or just find you on Facebook.
Yeah. I can have Jared give you the information to look me up on Facebook, and
Amy Maron.
You're all welcome to hit me up.
AMYMARON.
Make sure you get the account with the red shirt with the dove with the green leaf in its mouth.
There you go. There you go. So find Amy on Facebook if you're going through, I guess, if you have mental issues that you need to work out.
Depression, any of the above.
She'll talk with you. And of course, you know, I'm still an advocate for pediatric cancer. I'll always be, I think.
Yeah.
Even when I think, you know, because I was just saying that, you know, my advocacy efforts have kind of mellowed. I'm not as enthusiastic. But for the reasons that I had just previously mentioned, there's too much showboating and there's too much gloating and too much superiority.
Yeah.
And that's not what I am reaching for.
No. And I got my nephew that calls me 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And I counsel him. Yeah. Is what I do. Over the phone.
Yeah.
So, if anyone gets a hold of me on Facebook, I will message them back my phone number, and they're more than welcome to call anytime they need to vent. And if I can give them some advice, I'll try to.
But, you know, don't overwork yourself. That's what I would suggest to you, is don't get, you know, I mean, it's good to listen to people, but don't get yourself to the point where it depresses you, and then it makes your situation worse. But just kind of reach out and say, I know how you feel. And sometimes that's really all people need to hear. Yeah. They just need to know that there's someone out there who can relate.
Yep.
That's all.
Your brother Jay and I do that quite a bit.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway.
You and I used to sit up until daybreak at the table just talking away.
Anymore, I isolate myself.
Yeah, you're like me.
I got to get away, or I need that time to myself where I just, you know, where I can talk, even if I have to write a poem and I express myself through a poem.
And it's a bummer that I don't have my license, because I would be going on rides too by myself. I got a girlfriend. Oh, we got a trip that we can go on, you and I.
Where?
Oregon.
Yeah.
No, she wants to come here and stock our shelves up, is what she wants.
Oh, jeez.
I don't have any sugar. I don't have creamer. So, yeah, she says, sis, I'll come there and I'll stock you guys' shelves up.
Yeah.
But on that note, goodbye, everybody, and try to have a good day.
Yeah. Well, we'll try to have a good week.
Peace and love, everybody out there.
I hope your weekend's been good. My weekend's been pretty good.
Mine's doing pretty good.
The week, though, was just really awful. Not good. So on that note, I almost said readers. Like I'm talking to my, I don't know why I would say readers. Like I'm speaking to people on Twitter or Facebook. But I don't have Facebook anymore. But anyway, I'm out of here. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for watching and for sitting through this hour-and-a-half long ranting video. My name is Jared Fuller. I'll be here next week. And I am thinking about doing a live YouTube chat. Maybe sometime today, maybe tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. But if you're following me on Twitter, you'll get the tweet. I'll put the tweet out there and let everybody know that, hey, I'm live on YouTube, and if you want to chat, let's chat. And I will respond directly to you. So much love to all of you. Have a wonderful week. Take care of yourselves, and peace out.